In this video we'll show you some of the free camps that you can use between Adelaide and Perth should you ever cross the Nullarbor. It's certainly a great way to go over there. This location is slightly west of Knob, and we certainly enjoyed a sunset on our first night. Now rolling into Kimber, and it's officially the halfway point between Sydney and Perth, with the pink cocky here and some of the silo art that you can see on the silo art trail should you ever do one of those. As we drove through Woodner, we stopped and had a look at the monument for the tribute to the Australian farmer. There is a short drive, it's dirt road, that takes you out to Pildappa Rock, and we spent one night there. It's quite nice. They've got drop toilets, quite a few other campers out there at the time that we were out there. There's a small shelter out there with a picnic table and barbecue for campers or day trippers to use as they see fit. Once back on the road the next morning, it was into Ceduna where we filled up at the BP servo and then continued to head west. In the township of Penong now, with its very large display of windmills. If there's anyone that's going to travel over the Nullarbor and they don't actually want a free camp out in the bushes and whatever, Nullarbor Roadhouse, and each roadhouse along the way, they've got camping and caravan facilities at the back of the roadhouse or some form of caravan park. Now at the eastern end of the Nullarbor plain, we were now into the third night on our trip, and we camped about 30 kilometres Perth side of the Nullarbor Roadhouse, so officially on the Nullarbor. Once again, treated to a lovely sunset. As you travel across the Nullarbor and you go down along the Bunda Cliffs, there's several roads that will take you down there to allow you to see the cliffs, but we found it very hard on this trip to find those roads, and very limited camping spots, but they are there if you open your eyes and look hard, but unfortunately we missed them. Still reasonably early in the day when we missed out on our Bunda Cliff campsites, but we pushed on and we found one here looking out over the water. Very windy though, so you're certainly open to the wind. We spent 2 nights camped here just short of Border Village at the head of the bight, and with views like we had, why wouldn't you? Now coming into Border Village, and then it was across the border and into Western Australia. Rolling down the Eucla Pass. Mundrabilla Roadhouse coming up on our right hand side. Time for a coffee break and stretch the legs. There are several designated sections along the road which the Royal Flying Doctor will use to land the aeroplane in emergency, so if you happen to pull over on the side of these, just be very wary that you might find an aeroplane come whizzing over your head. All set up in the parking bay for another night, and if I pronounce it right, it's called the Mudini rest area. When driving into these parking bays, always look for the roads that lead you out to the rear of the parking bay. They're the better areas to camp. Ready to do a left-hand turn, and here we are going down into Madura, little roadhouse, and once again offering caravan park facilities at the back of the roadhouse for those people that don't want a free camp out in the bushes. A quick view of the roadhouse. Westbound from Madura, and you're immediately going up to what they call the Madura Pass. You may think that the Nullarbor road is a long, lonely road, but there's plenty of tourists and traffic out there nowadays, and as we're driving here into Cocklebiddy, plenty of roadhouses, so you're not alone. As well as camping facilities, most roadhouses will offer some form of motel accommodation. As we head west from Kagoona, we go through a time change, and then the next roadhouse is Kagoona. As you leave Kagoona heading west, you hit the 90 mile straight, which is the longest straight road in Australia. Our next night's camp was at Baxter's rest area. There is a dump point here should you want to use it, but believe me, it's not very clean because there's no water to hose it down afterwards. And if you drive right out the back as we did here, it's away from the traffic noise and you're secluded, peace and quiet, and just lovely to be there. We had a bit of rain overnight, but as we were leaving Baxter's the next morning it was starting to clear, so that was no real drama to us. This is where we did a left-hand turn to go into Fraser Range Caravan Park. It was something that's always been on our bucket list to go in and camp there, so we've ticked it off now. Bit of dirt road going in, but with the rain the night before there's puddles on the road, but the road was in good condition. Building on the left is coming into view there now. That's the booking in office. You'll actually drive right up past that and book in on your way in. They certainly look after the grounds. It's very clean and tidy. It's a credit to them, really. A bit of a flyover with the drone, giving an aerial perspective of the campground and station grounds itself at the homestead. A quick refuel at the BP at Norseman on our way through. Turn left to go to Esperance, but for us it was turn right and head towards Perth. It was a quick shop in Coolgardie to replenish the caravan pantry as we went through, and then it was on to the Broughton rest area where we were staying for the night. Like a bit of fog when you're free camping. We did a left-hand turn and went out and had a look at Cockerban Rock. Quite a large rock, all on its own. On our 11th day we camped at the Colan campsite. This is a very big campsite with the area purely mapped out for camping. Lots and lots of room. There's plenty of room to spread out, no need for anyone to be on top of each other. Unfortunately, during the middle of the night we had to leave our campsite here and go into Tammin, where we camped on a camping area just west of Tammin itself, and seek medical advice whilst we were there. We couldn't drive through Cunderdin without stopping and having a look at the old Edamogga pub. Rolling down the hill into Perth, and we set up in a caravan park for a few nights while we visited family while we were over there. So many great sunsets on this trip, it was amazing. Before long we were back on the road heading east, heading for home I suppose, and having a bit of a look at Northam as we went past. Normally you'd bypass this town with the bypass road, but we took the opportunity to go and have a bit of a look around. It was a quick lunch break at Calabarin, before we made our way onto the Caravan rest area where we set up for that night. At the end of our 19th day on the road, we found ourselves camped here in a big open area which is at the intersection of the Norseman to Adelaide Road that joins up with the Kalgoorlie Road where it comes down, and it's big and open, plenty of flat area ground, no grass, plenty of room for a fire, just great to be there. And once again, we enjoyed a lovely sunset. Time on our side, it was a quick drive around Norseman as we went through. Quick stop at the Balladonia Roadhouse for fuel and coffee. Ready to tackle the 90-mile straight again before setting up camp in a parking bay 14 kilometres east of Cocklebiddy. With all the free camping that we did, I don't think we found ourselves alone on any one single night. Rolling down the Madura Pass. As we didn't stop at Mundrabilla on our way west, we thought we'd call in now as we're heading home, have a bit of a walk around and stretch our legs and another cup of coffee. Now climbing back up the Eucla Pass, heading towards Eucla and Border Village. You certainly know you're getting closer to home when you see the South Australian Western Australian border sign. Border Village with its motel type accommodation and roadhouse. We found as you entered the parking bays as we drove across the Nullarbor, if you go out the back of the parking bay, there was always a lot better location to camp for the night rather than stay in the parking bay proper. The further away you got from the road, the quieter it was and the more pleasant the surroundings were. We're now at the Streaky Bay Caravan Park, so for us the free camping of the Nullarbor and any free camping on this trip is now a thing of the past. It was time to sit back and kill a few days before we needed to be home, so Streaky Bay and a few other locations won out in this case. the area around Streaky Bay itself certainly has some nice beaches. Now turning into the Nutbush Retreat Caravan and Camping Ground. We have stayed here before, it's quite nice. It's a working sheep station and very friendly people and hosts there. You know you're getting close to home when the countryside starts turning green, and here at Mambray Creek as we made our way down to the Port Broughton Caravan Park where we stayed for one night before finally heading home. Foggy start to the day again as we travel towards Adelaide on our last day. If you like the video that you just watched, give us a thumbs up, and if you want to see more of our videos, hit the subscribe button, and once you've done that, tap on the bell and change the notification to all. That way every time we do uploads to our YouTube channel, you'll be notified.